Odelya, thank you for joining me today on Pop Culture Unplugged.
Thank you for having me.
Exciting times. We see you on Law and Order, but you've been busy throughout the last few years. I know when I was doing
Yeah.
some research on you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I mean, I have been busy, not as busy as I am on Law and Order, but I've been mostly busy trying to get these jobs.
Hey, I'm not gonna complain. When I was reading the research, like you girl, I love that show. You had a
Thank
role
you.
on there, Mike and Molly. But before we jump into that, all that too, saw you were born in Israel, right?
Born and raised in Israel. Moved to the States
Yeah.
when I was 20
Acting
with,
bug. How did that hit you?
oh my God. I mean, just I moved with not with the intention to becoming an actress in the
Mm,
US. I moved with the intention of making money in the US, back
yeah.
then when you made money to go back to your country and uh, you could do anything. So I wanted to come here and make money so I can go to acting school in Israel. And then I I smelled something in the air. I went to LA and I didn't like it. Sorry, LA people. It grew on me, but I didn't like
Mm,
it at first. But I was like, I smell opportunities, and I chose to stay. And I had to deal with a lot of uh, language barrier and culture barrier. And I just remember, trying really hard, and people would make fun of me all day long, and I was mostly insulted or chose to take their laughs as an insult.
mm.
And then I learned something. I was like, you know what? While you're working on getting better at this, why don't you just laugh at yourself? That was my way of coping. I was like, just laugh with them. Just, don't take life so seriously. And that resulted in creating great friendships and later on great relationships with casting directors because
Right.
I would walk into every room um, so nervous in the beginning and just trying to say the lines correctly, the words correctly, and I would get a panic attack and I would just lose everything. And then you get the occasional thank you so much for coming in, and then it weighs on you. And then I decided, you know what? The next time this happens, just laugh at it, laugh
Mm.
at this moment, and that's what I did. And slowly I created this more like personal relationships with casting directors, and that led um, them to hire me for the jobs that I was actually right for versus the jobs that I thought that I needed to fit in for.
Mm.
um, yeah.
Looking back through all these roles you've had, what would you say is what stands out for you the most?
I think so. The first role was that really, I was like, oh my God, that's it. That's my moment. It was Good Girls Revolt, which Dana Calvo and Scott Weinand gave me a real opportunity because I had nothing on my resume except for, commercials
Yeah.
and a couple of guest stars on Mike and Molly, which was really, really funny. And I had a great time, playing that part and the new girl. But I didn't have anything substantial to show. And they picked me. They picked
Mm.
me, and it was the first time I had an arc on a show where I could actually create a whole backstory to the character, and people respected my choices and respected my opinion, and I it was really exciting. It was really exciting. I felt in that moment that even though it wasn't one of the lead characters, I felt like I knew at that moment that I have a chance. And
Mm.
back then, I have to say, like, with my look, it's very specific. People didn't know, casting directors didn't really know how to place me. They didn't really know what I was at the time. And so it was really, really meaningful because when I moved to the United States, it was 2008, and there weren't a lot of people who looked like me on TV. And if they did, they played the terrorist or the brother of the terrorist,
Yeah.
the sister of the terrorist. So I like, one day maybe the industry will change. And it did.
Mm.
And I think the first part was Good Girls Revolt, where I played a Middle Eastern sort of princess, a character that has seen the world, very, very intelligent, and you know, regal. And that was very meaningful to me.
And now we have Law and Order.
And by the way, so we have a new writer on the show. He's worked with Dick Wolf before, and he the first time he came to set, he's like, I'm Dana Cowboy's husband, and I said, oh my god, I love her so much. She was the first person to trust me and say, I want this girl. Like, I trust her. And so it's like, it just full circle.
That's amazing. And now,
Yeah.
like opportunities are bigger for you just because you've networked like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
how,
mean,
so how
oh,
does
go
it
ahead.
feel? No, I was just saying, like now for like Law and Order, like how does it feel to join like an iconic show like that? I mean, that show was on me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So
Same.
throughout all these years, now it's a huge milestone for an actor to join a
Yeah.
series like this.
And nerve wracking and intimidating
No
and
pressure.
no pressure. I mean, when I got the part, I was so happy. But for a while, I thought, okay, they're about to fire me. They're about to realize that I'm not right for the job, that I can't do it. The imposter syndrome
Yeah.
comes in, right? And I mean, working with people like Sam Waterston that I used to watch when I was a little girl with my mom before I could understand English, but would read subtitles, and I just can't believe that I'm here. It's a total dream, and all I could think about is, you don't deserve this. You're not good enough. And really growing and growing into the character and evolving as the character, but also as Odelya. Really, it's really shaped me over the last 4 seasons, over the last 3 years, and it's just been wonderful. I mean, I'm just so grateful that I joined a show that's all of the actors on that show has been doing this for so long. They have so much experience. I can only learn from them versus a show where, maybe everyone is new. And I always want to work with people who I can look up to and be
Right, right.
intimidated by, because if I'm intimidated by someone, that means I
Makes you
can
work harder.
learn harder, and it makes,
Uh,
yeah, and you learn so much more. So
she's a
yeah.
fascinating character too. Like, how would you describe like how would you say she's evolved now throughout these episodes, the season? How much has
Yeah.
she grown?
I mean, I think Maroon, when she started, I think for the character, she's obviously worked her ass off to get to where she is.
Mm,
And, if you look at her background, she's a daughter of immigrants, and a lot of similarities. We have a lot of similarities. And I think the confidence would be the word that I would choose to describe her now.
mm,
At first, yeah, she had her opinions and passions and all of that. But now more than ever, she's not afraid to speak up. She's not afraid to say, I know what I'm doing. I have the
mm.
knowledge. I have the credentials. It's you're gonna have to agree with me. You're gonna have to trust me. Versus in the beginning, she was asking a lot of questions and she was learning. And now it's about partnership versus just, yeah, tell me what you think is right. When
She,
she's talking to Nolan, it's not like, what do you think we should do? It's
yeah.
more, here's what I think we should do.
She's pushing her
Yeah,
boundaries this season.
pushing her boundaries. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, as she
Mm,
should, as anyone should in a work environment, because really they hire you because you're valuable.
yeah.
And yeah.
With the fans that are enjoying the Maroon and Nolan Price too, and like in the courtroom, they're how would you describe like that working relationship this season with them too?
And in the courtroom.
Yeah, because there's like sometimes I feel like when you're watching these seasons, there's a little tension between you two also.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, that's the dynamic, right?
Yeah.
If there's no tension, there's no growth. Uh, so there's always tension between these two, just as you would have with, a friend or a relationship, and I think they really push each other to be their best selves through these disagreements,
Yeah.
and they really push each other to look inside and have yeah, to just search on the inside and search for the answers, and at the end of the day they come together and they're a team again, and they go and work on the next case, and they've learned their lessons from all the other cases,
Right.
and they keep growing together.
Playing a role like this, a prosecutor, how often do you find yourself like getting lost online, doing research to see like how you want to play certain scenes or certain roles or certain
uh,
scene of a show where
yeah.
you're playing a prosecutor?
um I don't know if I can say that, but I
Okay.
mean, in my whole life, I was really into the law. And
Okay.
before, way, way, way before I got Law and Order, I I had this like stalker of a cop that would pull me over everywhere in the city, give me four
Mm,
tickets in a month, and I didn't have money at the time, and I had to hire a lawyer to fight those ridiculous tickets. So I
yeah.
pretended, I put a suit on and I went to court and I fought these tickets, which I then got most of them dismissed just by talking to him. And I was like, you know what? I just, all I did was research at the time. And so
Yeah.
I keep, I'm fascinated by the law. I'm fascinated by, yeah, each case is different, and it gets me excited to learn, because the law is not black and white, right? Just the
Right.
justice system is not black and white. You have to up your game. You have to do your research. You have to just be more knowledgeable. And yeah, every case is different.
What about Samantha? Samantha, would you change anything about her?
Would I change anything about Samantha?
And what do
I
you
would
love the
see.
most
I
about
would
her?
want to see her go on a date. I would want
Okay.
to see her have more personal life.
Get out of the courtroom.
Yeah, no, you get out of the courtroom, but also, this woman works really hard, which I do too, and I love that and I appreciate that. But I would want her to have a little bit more of a personal life.
Mm. What do you hope like the audience takes away from your from this character?
You know what? Always stand up for yourself, especially in the workplace. Always have an opinion. Um, don't be afraid. Just, and don't be afraid. Just knowing that you are enough. That you are valuable. That um, you're not going to get fired because you said the
Right.
wrong thing. Just have values and stand by them. Your principles.
Would you love to see her do a crossover with a different Law and Order, like SVU, organized crime? Would you
Yeah,
want to see that?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I worked with Mariska. We did a crossover on SVU. It was our second season, and not second, the season 22. And I had such a great time. Mariska is such an incredible actor, but also an incredible director and an incredible scene partner. I just told her, coach me, give it to me. When sometimes when you do procedurals, you don't have time for that.
Yeah.
It's not like shooting a movie. It's different. You get the lines a day or two in advance, and you got to come and deliver. And Mariska takes the time with her guest stars and fellow actors to just like, let's be partners, let's work, let's
Mm,
play, this is fun. And
right.
I would love to work with her again.
Is there a last question on LA on Law
Yeah.
and Order? Is there a specific episode that you can't wait for the viewers to see, especially about your character, that you can tease?
Yeah, I mean, I think this episode that's coming up. It's about it's about abuse. Um, I personally am very connected to that issue. It's just an interesting episode. I can't wait for the audience to watch it and see what they think.
What's next for you now? Any other projects you're allowed to tell us about that you have coming up? You're working on? Are you taking a break
Um,
after this?
well, I am getting married in
Oh,
May.
congratulations.
So I'm like, you know what? In May, that's what I'll be doing. And then I'm gonna go on the honeymoon in Africa, which will I'm sure will be super fun, especially because I love animals so much, but I'm so scared of getting attacked, which is why I need to do it, pushing boundaries. And I'm really excited for that. And I'm working on developing a little bit of something of my own personal story, my life story. Hopefully, turning it into a mini series. And just excited to be behind the scenes and be on the creative side a little bit more.
It's awesome. Amazing. Odelia, I want to thank you for giving me a few minutes today. This was
Thank
great.
you.
We got to get you back on. We'll continue on the story.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.